Okay. So, thank you. So, let us begin.
So, Robert, what I'd like to explore in this is something in relation to my brother. And that's probably all I need to say, but if you're willing, I'll just start from there.
Yes, I am willing to. You can begin.
So, Robin, it's 3 years since our father died, and there's something still going on for me about some of our interactions at the time. And I wondered if you would be willing just to sit with me while I explore them, just be present, and I just would love to be able to explore them with you listening.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess it's important to me to say that I do know it's my own reactions. I just want you to understand that it's my exploration. But I'd be really grateful if you would allow me to do this.
Mm-hmm. A sense that already you can be aware, you're owning that this is your own reactions, and you want me to further support you in that just by being present.
Yes, there is a part of me that knows they're my own reactions, but I think a reason for having this conversation with you is there's a part of me which is still connected with them, and I would just love to explore that. And I think it goes back to really just a couple of days after our father died, and he had asked for his funeral to be conducted by his 4 children, which was a very wonderful thing. And it left us 4 to talk to each other about how to manage it. And we talked about it, and I guess I remember a couple of things being said, a couple of things you said. One of them, I'm afraid I don't remember the exact words, but what I heard was something about you're no more important than the rest of us. And another one I remember was we were talking about how we contributed, and you said, well, I'll do what I want, and you can fuck off. And I just want to, even as I repeat that, I feel this pain inside me. And I have some thinking about it. I can feel the thinking about it now. And there's something about, just about, look, we're all upset that Dan's died. How can you just for heaven's sake, grow up? I had a thought like that. I had another thought, which was sort of you're hysterical. It's just like you, or you're always awkward, and I can feel it now. A lot of these thoughts coming in me, and you recognize, but they're you're hysterical, you're awkward, you're insensitive, you're selfish, because we're all hurt. This is a time to be gentle with each other, and it's very painful for me. And the pain is a kind of, even as I talk about it now, I feel myself, it's almost like sharpening. I talk about our body tightening, it feels like my body is sharpening and edgy and painful. Yeah, it feels like a rough surface on my body as I speak. And tense, I can feel now the tension. I can just, and as I talk, I can see I've got this tension in my body as I take myself back to it. And I feel hurt. I feel a different sort of pain about wishing that sitting here with our father literally next to us, that we could somehow, why can't we, what is life about? There's a real pain about life, really. Or about our separation from life. And the energy is still with me, and I struggle. I would love to connect to the life, but I connect more to the sharpness and the edginess, and it's affecting my relationship with you. These thoughts I am having, my thoughts are stopping me sometimes from speaking. I saw you the other day, and I'm conscious that I barely spoke to you. So I want to, my thoughts, I know, hold me away from you. And I guess that's painful too.
The sense what I'm hearing is this, remembering the event, what I said, a couple of things, hearing those words, it reconnects you with this intensity of pain. Yes. The thoughts of why can't you just, realize that everybody's hurt. And so this is coming to you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, as I sit here now, it's very alive. The thoughts are coming back to me, and I have these thoughts about why can't you grow up? Why are you so selfish? Why can't you, relax? Let go a bit, man.
And in those words, a sense, right there, I'm sensing there was pain.
Yeah.
There's pain there, right there with the words.
Yeah. And the pain, it comes first as this edgy, sharp feeling, but then I can sense this other pain. I can sense this other pain, which also led me to see how these thoughts cut me off from you now, which is, I think, maybe why I'm speaking to you. I'm conscious that my thinking is holding me away from you. And, we're both in many years have passed, and yet my thinking holds me away from you, and that is also a sadness, see.
The thinking is holding you away. I'd like to hear more clearly what the thinking is.
I've had enough of you. I don't want to assert. It's just too much like hard work.
Okay.
It's just too much like hard work.
As you say that, I'm sensing there's an energy behind it, and I'd like you to really go into that energy and say it again.
I just can't be bothered. You're just too much hard work.
Yeah.
You're too much hard work. Why do we all have to dance around you? Other people exist as well.
So as you say that, can you sense that this is your own sort of inner response with respect to the words you heard previously?
Yeah. When I recall those words, which I heard as "you're no more important than the rest of us," I think there's something about my going to a place which says nobody understands me. I was doing my best. I was doing my best to make it work for our Father, and I think I touched on a place where I just felt, you didn't understand, but perhaps deeper than that, no one understands. And that this sort of, it always seems to be the way. I do my best and people don't understand. I really do my best. And then somehow it doesn't work, or people think I'm trying to take over, and I'm just doing my best.
So the sense of, at the heart of this is one event, but there's a similarity to this. It's that you just don't understand. As if in this pain, you so want to be understood.
Yeah.
You so want to be recognized for, even though it may not be perfect, but you're doing your best.
Yeah. And I think particularly standing next to my dead father, I so wanted to make it right. I so wanted it to be what he wanted. And it felt, I think, whatever you said, my thoughts came, and underneath it was this thing about you don't understand, and no one has ever understood me. No one's ever really understood me.
There's a sense there of you don't understand, but then I sense it goes deeper. But no one has really understood me. In a sense, there's a feeling in there I'm sensing it, that you're in your experience. Is there a deep disheartenment in that feeling?
There's something about I do want to do my best, And in that there's something which is about being all that I can, but also longing to believe that what I am is then of value to others. That if I can be everything that I am, that is worth being. Something like that, I think, And I guess this thing about understanding is something about maybe it's another way of saying, I feel you're telling me I'm not doing my best, or my best is not good enough. This understanding is a kind of way of saying that. I think now I come to talk to you about it. And underneath it, I just want to be everything I am, and I want that to matter.
So this is important right here. You heard the words, but not so much they came from me, they did this time, but then it awakened something that's already there in you.
Yeah.
Something that was awakened, it's already in you. It's this pain of not being understood, seen, for wanting that I've done my best.
Yeah, I think it's been there for a long, long time. I can remember when I was very, very young, longing for people to tell me I'd done well, or it was good, or I'm trying so hard.
There's two things. You see what's here, you're trying hard. You're doing your best. Sensing as you say that, there's such a sense of sincerity. And then that to be met with not being really fully seen it for what that is.
Yeah, no, I think when I heard you speak those words, which were your words, and I recognize you were hurt, and it simply touched on something in me which was waiting to be drawn out by something, because we were all upset, I think, and it came out. And now I'm back in touch with it again, that simple longing to be everything I could possibly be.
Yeah. And as you say that, in a sense, something very tender in that. Just a longing to be everything you could possibly be.
Yeah. Strangely enough, it's a very soft thing. It's not about being big or powerful. It's just about being everything I could possibly be. And it's a very oddly gentle thing. It's a very soft thing. It's quite different from kind of wanting to be important or big. It's just everything I could possibly be.
And as you say those words, I'm sensing you're actually feeling something now.
Yeah, no.
You know, the sensation, the feeling in you.
I'm feeling physically very, very warm, and my solar plexus is very soft at the moment.
Very soft.
Yeah.
And it's sensing the quality of just soft, maybe even peacefulness, or some beauty in this quality.
It's very quiet.
Yeah.
It's very, very quiet. And very, very serene. Very serene.
This is something that is very much an important part of you in your life. You carry it with you.
Yes, I carry it with me all the time.
Yeah.
I carry it with me all the time. Yeah.
Such a beautiful thing. And also very sensitive, very fragile and very tender, because it so easily is hurt.
There's an image that comes to me which is a very precious image from about 10 years ago of, it's actually just a cone of light, and in it there's a small boy, very innocent, and there's a much older man standing next to him. And the older man just touches the boy, and in the moment his arm touches the boy's shoulder, there's complete peace in this very beautiful golden cone of light. And it feels like that.
There's nothing more right now to be said. Very grateful. Thank you. So what I want to say about what you just saw was what's very important for me is that what this process demonstrates is a very important principle that certainly if someone says or does something that stimulates this kind of pain that's not in harmony with something I care about, it's valuable and important at some stage to bring this to the person so that I can be heard, the impact that they had on me so that I can listen to them as what was alive in them. This dialogue is very important. And I found over and over and over again that even though these dialogues are important, that there's something that I want almost always that carries a depth that may not be addressed in the authentic dialogue. And it is the possibility that whenever I am stimulated or triggered, this is what I experience, that it is always about something that I'm already carrying with me. It's always about an unhealed something. It's always about, I use the word legacy. I carry the legacy of certain very important life experiences within my system. And I carry that in life. And it's almost as though I lead with it, because that's my heart, in a way. My tender heart, my fragile heart, my protected heart that gives rise to the judgments. So it's this constellation of propensity or tendency, always ready to be re-stimulated. The event did not trigger or stimulate something that's not already there. This work is an opportunity to enter into a very deep healing with the fundamental pattern that I carry in me, or patterns that I carry in me, always in life, in relationship. So that when I can finally get to the substance and the core of this profound patterning, I can finally begin to glimpse the possibility of real wholeness that I bring to myself. That I no longer need to depend on someone acting or speaking in a certain way, even though I may recover that in a dialogue. So this is the principle that I want to say. We're just touching into it today. We're just barely going to touch into the possibilities in a little bit of time that we have left. But I just want to name for me what is actually very beautiful and ultimately tremendously empowering for me. That if I am stimulated and I don't have a connection with something or someone in an interaction, I do and I value bringing it into the quality of this relationship. I want to restore our connection, our mutual understanding. And maybe in some way that might touch this core patterning in me. But I have more confidence in my addressing, connecting to the reality, this reality that for me is very clear and very certain, that I carry with me always, that I don't even have the words, that my lived experience as a legacy is a real, it's almost as though it's a membrane ready to be, responded. It awakens. It's awakened by life. And it's a re-stimulation. And I want to enter into it with full vulnerability and ownership, with always the presence of self-compassion and the compassion and presence that another can offer me. Then a real healing can take place. Then I start to really recover myself, my power, so that I can then more and more with this practice, eventually, more and more, become more present to the other, become more present because I'm more present to myself. So I'd like to hear any responses, a couple of, before I invite you into this initial practice on your own. And raise your hand if you have a question or a sharing of what you experienced here with Richard and me.
Thank you, Robert. I didn't hear some things well, and I realised that Richard got to the end of the session with you with something very important, and I wonder if he would be willing just to speak about that part of the experience.
Okay. Request? Did you hear the request, Richard? Yeah.
The dialogue I had with Robert brought back an image which has been, goes back probably 10 years, and it brought it back very strongly. But the image it's like a golden cone of light, and inside it there's a young boy, quite young, very innocent, and next to him a much older man. And they're there, and in the shimmering cone of light, and there's a moment when the older man just touches the younger boy's shoulder, and in the moment they touch, everything is suffused with peace, just complete peace.
I've had some experience of attempting this healing dialogue with someone close to me. And on one occasion, this person wasn't trusting that I was taking responsibility for everything that was going on in me. And I'm wondering what to do in that situation, because unless I choose someone I know can sit and just receive me, I'm not sure that I would be happy to do it.
Yeah. I don't know exactly the nature of this person's experience that they express as, I'm not trusting that you're fully owning that. Now what that does then, it draws me to the other person's experience, because they are being stimulated by something that you're sharing.
Yes.
Now I don't know what they're picking up on or how they're interpreting it, but it really goes to the person's capacity who is present to you, that even if you're not taking ownership, that they don't have to be triggered by that. Their inability to take ownership for whatever's going on in them, even if you're not taking complete ownership for it. So the capacity of the listener is really of paramount importance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I were not taking ownership for that, and I had the capacity, and you weren't taking full ownership for it, there's a tinge of blame, you can pick up on it, and it's saying, so even as you're speaking right now, I'm wondering if there's a sense of an energy in any way of blame that you're feeling.
So then it requires me
Yes.
in that place to
Exactly.
respond to what I'm imagining might be going on for them.
No, you don't pay attention to what's going on in me at all.
Okay.
At all. That's not what this process is.
No.
This process requires a complete open witness that is enabled to, if in that witnessing position, I sense that you're not taking ownership, I want to be able to keep the attention on you. What is it in you that I might be picking up on? Are you sensing any blame in you? Because if it is, and you're not taking ownership, I want you to be aware of it.
Okay.
I want to be able to gently remind you, gently bring this as a possibility for you to examine. I'm not pushing you. I'm not saying that that's going on. But I sense something in the field of my presence, an intelligent sensing, and bringing it always back to you.
Okay.
Does that help?
That's clear, yes. Thank you, Robert.
Okay. So we'll move into the practical aspect of this, choosing a partner, starting with each person who wants to practice identifying an experience in which, in a relationship, in an interaction with someone, that person said something that stimulated judgment, pain, anger, some triggering event, and then start by approaching, this person is not the actual, your partner is not the actual person that did that. They're standing, so to speak, in proxy, as if they are the one, who is offering the listening presence to support you while you undergo the touching into your experience, fully owning it, touching into the vulnerability, owning the feeling, sensing the deep longing in this.
Sorry, just one question. Are you suggesting that we always do it with someone who wasn't the person, or normally do it with someone who wasn't the person who triggered?
Yeah.
Or
At this stage, where we are in the workshop,
no, I mean in life.
I'm not suggesting you do this in life. Not until you've mastered this in a setting where someone has some degree of capacity, or unless you trust that the person has the capacity to be completely present to you.
Right.
If you don't trust that, then I would not do this process.
Okay.
And that, maybe it's there, that you know, it's quite a capacity to be there. If I'm the stimulus for someone, for me to actually fully be present as they are expressing their experience in response to the stimulus that I provided.
Mm.
That's a fairly high level capacity. So I'd say practice this first within yourself with a neutral other person until you have developed this within yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.